Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriela. I'm an attorney from Brazil, and I'm here today with American immigration attorney Joaquin Rosales. And the idea of this video is to talk to Brazilians that are interested in immigrating to the US. You want to say a few words of introduction about yourself, Joaquin?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Gabby, for having me. Pleasure speaking with you. But yeah, like you said, I'm an immigration attorney. I have been living here in this country for over 25 years. I'm an immigrant myself. I came here around when I was 13, 14 years old. Then I became a resident, and then I became a citizen. After going to law school, I was, sort of thinking what would I want to do, and I told myself I knew it was a very tough nerve-breaking process for immigrants to get their act together in terms of immigration purposes here and get their paperwork done. So I jumped into immigration to try to help out people that were in my situation, or in most cases even worse situations, right? To try to be able to make a life here in the United States, right? So we do immigration. We focus on a whole different range of immigration topics and visas, right? We do a lot of business based visas, executive transfer visas, talent-based visas, employment-based visas, as well as a typical family-based visas, citizenships, etc. Right? So I think working with an attorney has been through the process of immigration here in this country is better. And in general, I think it's extremely important to have the helping hand of an attorney. Immigration is a very nuanced topic. It has a lot of little details, a lot of little regulations. And regulations and laws are going back and forth, but depending on which government we have at the time, right? So they change a lot of things very quickly. So it's really important that that you're getting your work done by someone who is knowledgeable of all these changes, knows how to do these visas, depending on what you want to do, right? It can give you a straight answer as to what your possibility is pertaining to a certain type of visa, right? So what we try to do is we try to analyze the profile of our clients. We like to get to know our clients. We typically have video conferences with our clients where we've had them fill out questionnaires, right? That gives a better idea as to what the purpose is, right, of our client. What do they want to do in the United States? Do they want to stay here for a little bit? Do they want to live here for the rest of their lives? Do they want to bring their families here? So it's really important that you actually get to know the potential client first, right? Their background, their profile, their education, even their families, right? To try to see which visa would be the best fit for them, right?
Okay.
So that's what we attempt to do here at Amerigo. We have people who, I speak Spanish and English. We have Portuguese speaking staff as well that can translate if necessary for our Brazilians clients. And we try to do our best to be as truthful as possible and transparent when it comes to the process of coming to the United States, and when it comes to the possibilities of doing so depending on each visa, right? So that's what we try to do when we meet up with the clients and get to know them.
Okay. If someone is interested in immigrating to the United States, what would you recommend? How long before the person wanting to move to the US would be best for them to schedule, for example, a consultation with the attorney? When should they start preparing themselves to move to the US?
Well, I think the earlier the better, right? It's important that you speak with someone who's knowledgeable of the subject, an attorney, an immigration attorney like myself, who can start giving you ideas of the possibilities that you may have, right? So some people might not be ready right now. Some processes might take longer than others, right? But you also don't want to rush into things. You want to be able to be prepared and know what you're going to be facing. So I think the earlier that you contact an attorney, the better, because you'll have an idea of at least which visas you can potentially apply for, and then you can stop thinking about other ones that you may not have a shot at applying, right? So I think that the earlier the better. We'll be able to give you a much better idea of the potential visas that we can use to try to help you to come in right? And also depends on what they want to do, right? If they are more of an urgency to come to the States, there's all the steps that can be taken in order to sort of get people here quicker, and not perhaps with a residency, but something that will get them here, and then eventually they can apply to another visa that will give them a residency, right? So it really depends on the circumstances of the clients, right? But absolutely, like you said, and you mentioned, it's much better, to start now, right? To start as soon as possible and try to see what's out there, what possibilities, I might have regarding what visas, and then start working on it, right? Something that we always say in here is that immigration changes a lot, but the good thing about immigration is that for most of the cases, you can always work on your profile, right? What you're going to be sort of putting forth, right, to the government in order to attempt to come in with one of these visas legally, as everybody should, right? So yeah, we're more than glad to talk to people, have preliminary conversations with them, video phone calls, and we send them questionnaires that gives us a better idea into who they are, what they do, their background, their education, their experience, and how we can use that in order to apply for the best fitting visa, for them.
Okay, and what about the investment that the person needs to do? A lot of people, I think, get scared thinking that the process is too costly, but sometimes they don't think about like what they could get in return. I believe, for example, in terms of education, relocating your family to the US can bring you a lot of benefits in the sense that you can have access to many educational opportunities that will cost so much more if you're not a resident in the US. Can you talk a little bit about if someone should, how can a person prepare for this type of investment, and if you think that it's worth the investment, because a lot of people have no idea of how much an immigration process would cost, and if that would be really a benefit for them in the end. Can you tell?
Oh yeah, like look, it really, yeah, sure. I mean, it really depends on each case. I can't tell you how much it costs because each case is different, right? On a family-based petition is not the same thing as, say, I don't know, on an investment visa or a talent-based visa that's going to give you a residency, right? So it really varies. But in general, overall, I mean, the United States obviously has, the best education in the world. You have the opportunity, obviously, of living in a country where everybody wants to do business. Everybody wants to, own property as well. It's a very stable country. There's a lot of uncertainty, in South America and in countries around the world in terms of the government sometimes and what's going on. So you can have that peace of mind over here. The educational system, at least at the state level, you can have your children go to, really good schools for free in the public school system. If they go to colleges within the same state, they're, much cheaper than, you're a foreigner who wants to go to, a university here in the United States. And the business side of it as well, right? You have the ability to, if you have sort of knowledge and services, or you sell products or anything like that, you'll be reaching a huge market here in the United States. And people across the world feel a lot more comfortable dealing with people who have their businesses here in the United States, right? Who have their bank accounts here in the United States. So there's also ample opportunity for, to gain credit, right? And perhaps get loans to try to propel your business if that's something that you want to do, right? And also, a plethora of employment opportunities, right? We have, the biggest companies here in the world, a lot of startups and a lot of people who are looking for motivated people that want to work here in the United States for them, and they want to build also. So I think the United States is a great country, to start a family, to start a life. And there's just so many different possibilities, right? I mean, the country in itself is so big that you can be, in a sunny place like full South Florida, or you could be in New York City, you could be in California, or you can be in Chicago, you can be in Atlanta, you can be in so many different cities that, are also booming across the United States. and they want, people, who want to be part of this progress, right? So I think it's a great opportunity, and it really depends on the person, right? There's many different types of visas, many different types of ways of coming over here. I think the investment is certainly minimal compared to what you're getting out of it, right? You're getting out of it the possibility to live in, the richest and most successful country in the world right now, right? That has plenty of opportunities. So I think that's really important and totally worth the investment.
Thank you, Joaquin, for answering my questions today.
No problem.
I think you've helped a lot of Brazilians who are out there researching and looking for their options as to move with their family and live and work in the United States. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.